Hello, my name is Yosef, and today we're going to do mini vocabulary lesson 31 and 32. At this point, you're heading into the final stretch, the last 10. So let's get started and see what we're learning today. Our words are briefly, come across, criticism, environmental, there's a big word, group, land, occur, prevention, relevant, and survey. Let's get started. Can you understand and use these target words from Band 3? Can you understand them when you're reading them? Can you pronounce these words correctly? Can you spell them correctly? Can you use them correctly in a sentence? Those are our aims for this lesson. So, we intend to practice understanding, pronouncing, spelling, and using words in sentences. By the end of this lesson, I hope you'll be able to say, yes, I can, to each of these questions for these 10 target words. Let's get started. Come across. While I was searching, I came across a really interesting article. See a little picture of somebody searching? And he came across something, wow, I wasn't expecting this. So coming across something usually means that you found it while you were looking for something different. Now, come across is an interesting expression because it could be that you were physically walking somewhere and I came across 50 shekels on the ground and you picked it up. Wow, does this belong to somebody? Yours. Okay, take it back. But it could also be while you were searching. There's a whole different meaning to come across. Right now, while I'm talking to you, I come across as somebody who knows how to speak English. I'm coming across, meaning my message is coming over to you in a certain way. So two very different meanings. Today we're going to focus on the meaning of finding something. So come across is a verb, meaning to find something you weren't exactly looking for. The next word is survey. Let me take a survey. How many of you already know this word? You and you and you and you. Yeah, we can count something. When we want to get information from a large group of people, we can hand out a survey and ask people what they believe, and then count how many checked off the first box, how many the second, and how many the third, and we can analyze the results of the survey to learn something new and interesting about the group. So survey, in this case, is the noun, that set of questions that we ask, but it can also be a verb, meaning to give a survey, to ask everybody. You can survey the group and ask them what they think. But we'll focus on it as a noun here. The next word is briefly. You see that very brief letter? It was written briefly, meaning in a very small, short way. I don't explain these words briefly in the videos. In fact, I take a long time with each word, not briefly at all. If I just ran through the list of words, that would be briefly, and it wouldn't be enough for you to learn them deeply. These ly words are adverbs describing how something was done or how something was written. This letter was written briefly, in the briefest possible way, the fewest number of words, shortest number of lines to get the message across. The next word is criticism. Criticism can help us see what can be improved. Criticism can also be looked at as telling people what's wrong, or saying, that's not quite, should be a little bigger, should be a little smaller, should be this, should be that. I'm being critical, offering you my criticism. Criticism is a noun. ISM, as an ending, turns something into a noun. So I can be critical, meaning an adjective describing how I am, or I can give criticism. That's the suggestion or comment itself is called criticism when it is critical, when it's not really positive and praiseful. There's something that needs to be changed. So there are helpful ways to give criticism and hurtful ways to give criticism. And probably most of us have experienced both. The fact that it can be good or can be bad doesn't make criticism a bad thing. The next word is environmental. Anything that talks about the environment is environmental. That AL suffix on the word environment changes it to an adjective describing something environmental. Environmental protection is in our hands. That's what this picture shows. Shows a grown-up holding the earth, holding the whole environment, and handing it off to a child. And this picture represents the idea of that sentence, that the protection of the environment, environmental protection, is in our hands. We have control over it, over everything that goes on environmentally, in our environment, all around us. Occur. What just happened to that soldier? He got some kind of certificate. He's very excited about that. So when special events occur, we get excited. That's a happening. Something that happened to him, it occurred. Happened just in one special time. And it's a verb. That action of something happening is to occur. Lots of things can occur. Earning a special certificate occurs. The rain falling occurs. These things happen. They occur. Relevant. What's interesting or connected to is relevant. In this picture, it may be a little too small on your screen, but you can see that there are lots of different people with connections. Those relevant connections, what's interesting to one person and another and connected to another. So here's a sample sentence for relevant. Important information is relevant to many different people. Relevant is an adjective describing how it's connected. That it's important and significant and interesting to them makes it relevant. If I tell you right now, there's a purple elephant at the zoo, it's not really relevant to anything we're doing. But if I tell you right now that you can learn this word by writing sentences, well, you're in the process of learning vocabulary. So anything I tell you about learning words is relevant to what we're doing right now. The next word is group. Working in groups is very effective. There's a group of 4 people sitting around the table in this picture. Often, your teachers will give you an assignment and you need to work in a group. So you need to gather other people to work with you. You could have a group of students. We can have a group of workers. You could also have a group of things. Anything that you pull together where you've got a bunch of them together can be a group. And a group is a noun. Land. Right here we've got land as a noun, and it represents what isn't the water here. The earth itself, the dirt, the sand, the rocks, that's the land. The coast is where the land meets the sea. So this isn't an island, this is actually a peninsula that's surrounded on 3 sides by water. The peninsula itself is made of the land. Prevention. Prevention is blocking something from happening. It's a noun. Wearing a mask is a form of prevention against the COVID-19 virus. So it's something we can do to stop something else from happening. So prevention is stopping something. By learning new words, we are doing something to create prevention from the need for using the dictionary. If you know the words in your head, you don't need to go look in the book. Here's a list of the 10 words that I've introduced in this mini lesson. I'll go over them briefly. Okay, you're right, I won't do it briefly. I'm going to take a long time with each and every word because I want you to really understand them. When you're practicing, you can practice briefly, a few minutes here and a few minutes there. That'll really help. So try making yourself some flashcards so you can practice briefly. Keep them in your pocket. Take them out anytime you've got a couple of minutes to wait. You may come across these words when you read or when you travel. You could come across new ideas. Criticism. If it isn't perfect, somebody's bound to offer criticism about whatever it is. Environmental. If it has to do with the world around us, it is environmental. A group. Many people coming together form a group. Land. We're standing on the land. We go swimming in the sea, but you can stand and walk on the land. Occur. Anything that occurs happens. It happened one night. It occurred that night. Prevention stops something from happening. Prevention is a means of stopping something from happening. Relevant means that it's interesting to a certain person in a certain way at a certain time. It may be relevant now and not relevant some other time. And a survey is a way to ask a bunch of people the same questions to gather more information. Can you say each of these words? Briefly. Briefly. Come across. It's two words. We'll separate them. Come across. Criticism. Notice at the beginning we've got the C making a hard sound. Criticism. In the middle, making a soft sound, because at the beginning it comes before another consonant, and in the middle it comes before I or E. So criticism. Environmental. I'm going to stop with the pronunciation of this one for a minute because many people don't pronounce the R-O-N in the middle. They say environment. And you've got E-N-V-I-R, envir, and then many people say mental, as in something that goes in your brain, mental. But the R-O-N, that O-N in the middle, is really there, and you've got to write it, even if most people don't pronounce it. So the real word is environmental. Environmental. Most people, you won't hear that O-N in the middle, but don't miss it when you're writing. Group. In fact, there are many environmental groups that are trying to help us protect the environment, protecting the land. But right now we're in pronunciation. So can you say group? Say it again, group. Good. Land. That's an easy one. Land. Occur. Occur has a double C, but makes one hard K sound. Prevention. We've got that shun at the end, the T-I-O-N, that doesn't sound like the way it's written, indicates that there's a noun. Relevant, an adjective, relevant. And survey, survey, 2 syllables. Good. Let's practice. Do you remember which of these pictures goes with which of the words you've got on the list in front of you? That's a very short letter, and it was written briefly. We've got a few people who've come together as a group. This picture, we see the sea and the land. And what's in our hands? The environmental protection. Everything related to the environment is environmental. And what happened here? Something occurred. He won his certificate. 5 more words. What's wrong with this first picture? Do you have criticism about the pictures I chose? Hold on to your criticism, because in a few minutes, you're going to be the one who gets to choose the pictures. What is the mask for us? It is prevention of the spread of disease. And if we're asking a lot of people the same questions, we are giving a survey or conducting a survey. And if it's connected to many people, then it's quite relevant. And while we're searching, we might come across new information. Good job with these words. All right. So here's that list once more. You want to copy these words down into your notebooks. You can copy them down briefly, just on 10 lines, or you could elaborate and write the explanations, translations, and sample sentences. Come across, when you flip through your notebook, you'll come across all the words you've been learning. Criticism, if something's not quite right. Environmental, group, land, occur, prevention, relevant, and survey. These are the 10 words that we've worked on in this mini lesson. And let's look at something we could do with them at home. Do you know what a Frayer Square is? You may have seen this in some of the other mini lessons. I'll show you what it is anyway. Here on the screen you've got 2 Frayer Squares. One is a sample, and the other is related to the word land as a noun. It starts with a definition. Land is earth or ground, not water and not air. We also, going around clockwise, have translations. And then a sample sentence. Land feels solid under my feet. And then a picture. And you can see a photo credit under each picture to show where did we take that picture. Important in terms of copyright that we don't just take any picture off the internet without giving credit to its source. But this Frayer Square helps us to learn new vocabulary. It helps us because here we have a sentence, a picture, a definition, a translation, and the word itself. So we can understand how it works, remind ourselves. The process of making a Frayer Square is really important in making all of those connections in your brain. It'll help you remember. So how can we put this into action? Scan this QR code or copy down that address, and that'll take you into a shared Google document, a presentation that has a Frayer Square on each page. Pick one that nobody's used yet, or make a copy and start your own, and add all the pieces that you need, the definition, the sample sentence, the photo, and the translation for the word you want to learn. Now, it's okay if you choose a word that somebody else has already worked on, because your sentence will be different, the picture you connect with may be different, and the process for you will help you learn. Then, as we flip through, and you can use everybody else's to study, like flashcards, it'll help you to learn the words. Now, if you are a teacher watching this, you can actually make a copy of that Frayer Square document and give it blank to your whole class. Let them work on these in small groups and build a class dictionary of the words. Now, we're at the end of another mini lesson, and if you ask yourself the question from the beginning, I believe you'll say, now I can understand and use these 10 target words from Band 3. Now I can understand the word when I read it. I can pronounce the words correctly. I can spell these words, and I can use them in a sentence. And if you don't feel 100% confident now, feel free to go back over and over and over these words until you do feel that you can say, yes, I can. Good luck. Hello, I'm Yosef, and this is mini vocabulary lesson number 32 out of a set of 40. We're in the home stretch. Let's see what words we've got to look at today. The words are capable, current, guard, ocean, rely, consist of, equipment, land, previous, and system. Can you understand and use these target words from Band 3? Can you understand those words when you read them? Can you pronounce each word correctly? Can you spell these words? Can you use the word correctly in a sentence? Probably not yet, but in this lesson we're going to focus on doing exactly those things with each of these 10 words. And by the end of today's lesson, I hope you'll be able to say, yes, I can, for these 10 words. Let's get started. The first word is guard. You can see here in the picture, one of the guards at Buckingham Palace. I chose this picture because these are among the most famous guards in the whole world. Iconic, to say the least. So we have a sample sentence that many places have guards outside for protection. Notice I've used the word protection, which was one of the words from a previous list. In fact, you'll see that many of these words now come back again and again. You'll come across these words in your reading and in your speaking. So the more words you learn, the more comfortable you will feel using the language. So this word is guard, and it's a noun, describing the person who does the action of guarding and protecting someplace. The next word is rely. The sample sentence here is a soldier relies on computers and robots. Take a look carefully at this picture and you'll see one arm comes from a soldier or somebody wearing a combat uniform, and the other arm looks like it's mechanical. It's from a robot. And that shows how they rely on each other. The robot relies on the programming, and the soldiers rely on the robots. It's a symbiotic relationship. They rely on each other. Rely is a verb, which means you can depend on them. You can count on them to do what they're supposed to do, or to protect you, or to program you, or to do whatever it is that you need to do. Who are some of the people that you rely on in your life? You probably rely on your friends to keep their secrets. Maybe you've got someone you rely on to drive you someplace. You rely on your teachers to teach you new words. So we rely on lots of people for lots of things. Land. Here we're looking at land as a verb, which is the action of putting an airplane back down on the land as a noun. Can you land an airplane in the water? I don't recommend it. I'm sure there are some planes designed for it, but usually we want to land back down on the land. So the word land as a verb means to get back down on the ground. Sample sentence here, this airplane is landing at the end of the runway. I can tell it's the end because you've got water just on the other side. So that's a picture to help you try and remember that land is the action we do at the end of the flight. Consist of. The Olympic symbol consists of 5 circles. Each one is a different color. Consist of is a verb, meaning what it's made of. What are the parts? And we include the preposition of here in the definition of the word because the verb consist usually comes along with of. And so if you learn them together, that everything consists of things, the air consists of molecules, this lesson consists of 10 words, and the symbol consists of 5 different circles. So we're using of every time we use the word consist. They go together. Capable. The Wright brothers believed they were capable of flying an airplane. History tells us that they were right. They did fly an airplane. but lots of people didn't believe that they were capable of, or that man was capable of flying at all. To be capable is an adjective describing that you have the ability to do something. So you can see in this picture one of the very first flying machines that they built to make them capable of flying. Can people fly without some kind of a machine? Not yet. Equipment. Kitchen equipment is used for cooking. This picture has lots of different equipment, all of which can be found in a kitchen. Is this the set of equipment that the Wright brothers used to make the first airplane? No, they had a different set of equipment. So equipment is a word that can describe all the things you need. It can describe the tools and the materials, the things that you need to get a job done. What's the equipment that I need for this lesson? Well, I need my clicker, and I need the computer set up. I need the video cameras. I need you guys in order to listen to me. So there's lots of equipment that you need for every kind of a job. Equipment itself is a noun that is a collection of ideas of different nouns, all the things you need. It's one big noun wrapping up sets of other nouns. A system. A system is also a big set. The solar system consists of many stars and planets. So a system, or anything we can describe as a system, has different kinds of moving things going on. There's the school system, which has the classes and the students and the teachers. There's the computer system, which has the electricity, and it has the screen and the keyboard and all the inputs and outputs. So there are lots of different systems that we work in. So the word system is a bigger word that represents the ideas of all the things happening inside. So that's the word system. Current is anything happening right now. The current word is current. I've got a picture here showing the time, and if you look closely at that clock, it has the shadows of hands from different time zones. If you're in a different time zone, the current time will be different. When I look at my watch, I see the current time right here, right now. But if I call my family in the States and they look at their watches, the current time is different because we're in a different time zone. So current is what's happening right now. It's an adjective to describe anything that's right now. In fact, you can talk about current fashions or the current weather, all the things that are now. It doesn't have to be this second. It can be in this era, in this time frame. The general now is current. The ocean. Oceans cover 70% of the earth. Can you name the 5 oceans on this globe? In English, we've got the Pacific Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, the Indian Ocean, the Arctic Ocean, and the Southern Ocean. I know in Hebrew, each one of those has a different name, but there are still 5 major oceans on the globe. Ocean is a noun, represents gigantic bodies of water. Previous. A few moments ago, I talked about the current slide. The current slide now is previous. The previous slide, meaning the one before now, was ocean. Watch, we'll go back. There it is, ocean. Now I go to the next one, and it's previous. The previous one is the one before. Kind of tricky, isn't it? But if you see it in print, it's a little bit easier. Previous is an adjective. The one before is called the previous one. Make sense? Let's keep going. Do I want to go back to the previous word, to ocean? No, I want to move forward to the next word. Let's see what it is. The previous word was the last word. Crazy. Here's the list of all the 10 words that we've looked at in this mini lesson. I'll say each one, talk a little bit about it, give you a chance to repeat it. Capable. Capable has the suffix able. Capable is the things that you're able to do. So, something you're capable of. Are you capable of saying the word capable? Absolutely. Let me hear you. Capable. Yeah. Consist of. This list consists of 10 words. Can you say consist of? Good. Current. The one right now. Current. It's got 2 R's, but you only pronounce one of them in current. Equipment. Equipment. It's got one of those tricky QUs. EQUIPMENT. You've seen MENT at the end of a lot of words. What kind of words is MENT at the end of? That's right, nouns. MENT comes at the end of a noun. Equipment is a noun. Guard, the one who protects us. Guard. You can almost hear both the U and the A when we say guard. It's got a little bit of a movement to the word. It's not one sound there, guard. There aren't very many words that have these slurs, but this one does, guard. Land. Remember, here we're looking at land as a verb. We come down and land on the ground. Ocean. Ocean. That C makes an SH sound. That's unusual in this word. It's one that we'll need to practice. Ocean. Previous, meaning the one before. Previous. Rely. Even though I can't hear you, I can rely on you to say the words after me. Rely. Rely on. We usually rely on someone. System. The whole thing is a big system. Let's practice. Here are 5 pictures from the words. Do you remember which word matches each picture? You've got it. I can see it. What's that first one? The soldiers and the robots rely on each other. We also rely on the guard at the gate. And at the end of the flight, what does the airplane do? That's right, it lands back at the airport. And here we have the solar system, the solar system. What did the Wright brothers do? They flew an airplane. They believed that they were capable of flying. Wow. Rely, guard, land, system, and capable. That's half the new words. Let's take a look at the other set of pictures. Here are the other 5 words. Can you match them? I'll give you a few moments. Which word goes with which picture? The first word is also the current word. That's the one we're looking at right now. What were we looking at on this globe? This is the whole world, but we were focused just on the water. What was the word that we used for all of those huge bodies of water? We used the word ocean. Ocean with that special C that makes an SH sound, the ocean. And here's the Olympic symbol, which consists of 5 rings. And look at all of these different things that you can use in the kitchen. What's the big word that describes all the single pieces? I could tell you the names of each thing here that you'd use in the kitchen, but when I talk about it, all of it as a set, I can say it is kitchen equipment. We could also have a picture of sports equipment. Different sports have different equipment. And the arrow going back to the one before shows me what is the one before. The one before is called the previous one, an adjective describing the one that came before. Now, in English, the one before goes back to the left. So that could be confusing, but it's the previous one. Now, here's another way that you can practice. On the screen, you can see two Frayer squares. One of them is a blank, that's a template, and the other is already filled in with the word in the middle. In this case, I've chosen the word land as a verb. Because land could be the ground or the action, I specified that I was looking at the verb here. And there's a definition. To come back down to earth is the process to land. Here's a translation. A sample sentence. The airplane lands at the end of the flight. And of course, a picture with the photo credit. Where did I take that picture from the internet? So these pieces help us to learn and understand the words. When you make a Frayer Square, you actually make all of these connections. You choose the sentence and you choose the picture, and that helps you, that process helps you to remember these words. So what can you do at home? Well, you can make your own Frayer Squares on paper, or you could scan this QR code or write down this address, and when you go there, it will open up a Google Slides document where you can choose a new slide or make a new slide and add a Frayer Square for your word. Once you've chosen one, put in your definition, the translation, the sentence, and the picture. And it's okay if you do a word that someone else has already done, because the way that they did it helps them to learn. It may also be interesting for you to look at, but the process of making your own choices will help you to really learn these words. So it's okay for there to be multiples, and you can go through and use the other people's words as flashcards, as reminders, and as ways to help you understand other sentences to learn these words. Now, if you're a teacher watching this, you can make a copy of that slideshow and give it blank to your class to fill in and make a class dictionary. However you use it, the process of going through what other people have done and the process of doing it yourself will help you learn these words. Which words? Let's review them one more time. Capable, consist of, current, equipment, guard, land, ocean, previous, rely, system. Here on the screen you see the words in alphabetical order, but when I presented them, we can present them in any order we want. When we use them in sentences, we use them in the order according to the type of word they are. Verbs go with the subjects, adjectives describe nouns, adverbs describe actions. I think you've got this by now. So, we've reached the end of another. And ask yourself, can you use these words? I think you'll answer yes to all of these. Yes, you can understand and use these target words from Band 3. Yes, you can understand the words when you read them. Yes, you can pronounce these words correctly. Yes, you can spell these words. And yes, you can use them correctly in a sentence. I believe that you can, and I believe you think you can. But if not, feel free to watch the video again or to continue practicing these words. Good luck.